Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L and welcome to this My Hero Academia video. This time, it's a quick video chatting about some little details that came from the first episode of My Hero Academia Season 4. This time around, I've got 5 facts or details for you that'll enrich your experience of the episode, maybe even tell you something you may not have been aware of. Now, this video is more intended for anime-only viewers, but if you're a manga reader, I think I have a few little things that maybe you didn't notice, so that might be worthwhile. Anyway, let's just get into it. First off, this is a recap and filler episode. Recap because, well, a good percentage of the lines are to give you exposition on what happened before and remind you of plot elements. They're very heavy-handed and you'll notice them when you see them. The filler parts come from all the bits involving the anime original character Tane. Because this episode was a filler episode, it had to present a narrative that doesn't change the status quo of the story. And that's what we got when you look at the story arc. We had a character who deduced Izuku's relationship to All Might, who went in trying to get a scoop and who ultimately decided to keep the scoop to himself, thereby giving the episode a narrative where they could slot the recap bits into it and ultimately not change the story. You could remove the events of this episode and nothing would be lost in the Hero Academia story, in other words. Just a reminder, Season 3 also tried to do a filler recap episode with the kids at the pool while other people were talking about the events that happened before Season 3. This is just something that is consistent with what the Hero Academia anime does. Next detail, the episode used footage from the first Hero Academia movie. How cool is that? I thought we were going to end up with a movie recap episode, kind of like, the ones that Dragon Ball Super did. And I'm kind of sad we didn't actually get that. But hey, cool to see that footage. Next up, there was a cool detail in the quirk introduction shot. We had this kid who found his quirk, and then we had this shot of a villain. Do you recognize this villain? This is the guy that Aizawa wrecked all the way back when in Season 1. What I'm concerned about, though, in this narrative, is that the anime is saying that this guy went evil from the time he was a child. That's a pretty sad thought, that a kid was so neglected that he grew up to be a second-rate villain. Man, sad life, kid. Oh my gosh. Next is a detail I think you should keep in mind as we go into the rest of the season. The episode spent a lot of time focusing on the idea of who is next. Like, who is next after All Might, or who is the next All Might? This is a very prominent storyline for the beginning of the season, although it will take a backseat to the action that will be occurring. Still, it's really cool that the anime decided to focus on this bit because it leads viewers very well into the upcoming themes that we're going to be experiencing in Season 4. In other words, it's a pretty good intro storyline that primes the viewer for what kind of ideas they need to be keeping in mind. Okay, the last little bit is a bit of a technical detail. It's a note on some of the tricks that the anime episode used. Does this sequence of the kids running look familiar to you? It should, because it's almost the same sequence from the 4th opening. So what ended up happening here, and this is my guess, each of the characters are on their own separate layer most likely. It's either that or there's a layer of just the boys in the background and then the girls on their own separate layers. One of those two options. And the reason I say that is because there's just a few alterations to the ordering of the characters. Regardless though, the individual jog cycles for the characters are the exact same, and we can tell that from the face expressions. For instance, look at Mineta's face, Jiro's face, Suyu in general, and hey, even Aoyama, he continues to stare at the screen from the back, which is a really neat detail. It's ultimately really interesting. It looks like the anime copied the sequence they had for the 4th opening and pasted it into this episode, given the placement of Ojiro, Sero, and Shoji, and then they added a few adjustments with the girls, changing the order of when they come up. One thing to note about Mineta is that Mineta has more animation in the 4th opening variation of the run sequence, but here they just opted to show Mineta after he had already spotted a girl. So it still worked here, and it's good that they kept the attention to detail on that one. Overall though, I think it's just cool to see how the animators save time and resources, and it's cool to see how they're set up to be able to reuse resources for little things. Good on them! Now one more thing, a bit of a bonus detail, we had this ending focused on the child. This ending was pretty great even for manga fans, as it showed some scenes that manga readers haven't seen themselves. So I can't wait for all this to come together and for all of you to understand the implications of the ending for this anime. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. That's the end of it. Very short video. I'm not sure if I will be doing this type of video all the weeks, but I will be doing some manga comparisons once we start going into the manga material. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe to the channel if you want to know when the new Hero Academia content is going to be coming out. We'll be covering Hero Academia for this season. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, till next time. I hope you have an absolutely great day.